MedBricks Webcast is a new kind of healthcare media channel to break the silo mentality and foster interdisciplinary thinking. Our mission is to fill that gap and to create a curiosity through different lenses, tapping the passion that guided the historical figures in medicine and bringing present-day groundbreaking research to the front lines. We interview physicians and leaders in the industry about present-day healthcare challenges on our live programming. Hey, welcome to the MedBricks Webcast. This is Ramana Anamaraju. I'm not Albert Einstein, but the lady that is coming on, maybe she is probably Albert Einstein. She went to MIT, then she went to Stanford. She is a clinical associate professor at Stanford University, Stanford Medical Center, and then she is a board certified pediatrician. And then she is now a new startup. It's not a new startup. She started a startup before the pandemic. I met her actually. Pandia Health, helping all the women, entire spectrum of women. Now she used to work with the choices for the young woman. Now she added a woman with a menopause. So she is covering all women, the entire spectrum. so she's going to be the exciting. After that, I'm going to present a topic on very interesting. It is something beauty is so now the sex, beauty, all of them are connected in a way, but beauty it's a fundamental to the physics. People don't know this, but beauty is a more fundamental than even the laws of physics. I'm going to explain to you a little bit. This is the woman who proved this mathematically. The beauty is more important, more significant than just laws of physics. They're more fundamental. This is a woman from she was born in Germany, but she moved to Philadelphia, where Sophia went to school. Drexel, I think. I'm going to talk with her about that. I didn't see her still. She's on the way. Oh, she's on. So let me introduce you to Dr. Sophia Yen, MIT, Stanford, clinical professor, everything. Welcome, Sophia. You're a frequent.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm really excited to talk about Pandia Health and periods optional. I understand we're live streaming this to Facebook, LinkedIn, and I promoted it on my other socials as well. So
It is Instagram. I had the first time I am going on Instagram also. Let me do that. Actually, go live on Instagram. Just we're going on. It's going to be on Instagram now. So, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now just started Instagram. So, what it
Amazing.
is that let me ask you a question. That I know you a long time. You're really champion for women. Then there is a new laws came in. The women are confused. The young women are confused. Roe versus Wade. That's something that abortion bans. So the state by state, county by county, federal, state. This is a all mess. The agency, the organizations and the associations say something. The state is saying something, and the federal government is saying something. Can you tell us perspective on that in that issue of abortion ban a little bit? Because you're in the forefront of that.
Yes. So it is a travesty that the Supreme Court decided to overturn almost 50 years of precedence in allowing those of us with uteri to decide what happens to our body. To me, the issue of whether or not a person can choose abortion is about bodily autonomy, about freedom of religion, about equality. And it's just horrible that my daughters and your daughters have fewer rights than what I grew up with. And it's to me, we should always be improving things, moving forward, increasing people's rights, not decreasing their rights. And by sending it back to the states, horrible things have happened. If you haven't been following the news, in Arizona, they've reverted to a law from 1864. That was from before Arizona was even a state. And as a woman, as a physician, I'm like, if you're going to turn back the time to 1864, then I'm going to treat you with medicine from 1864. So no anesthesia, no antibiotics, no a whole bunch of medications that we have today. But really, we should not be going back to 1864. We should be in 2024. And this is an election year. It's really important for everyone to realize if you don't vote and one person ends up as president, one person is very anti reproductive rights, anti equality, anti the right to vote, anti, is just sexist. And my hashtag is no rapist for president. If you want, is it just to ask that we don't have a rapist as president?
I don't want to be too political, Sophia, here on my shared channel, but I want to be neutral and respect the law,
Yeah,
land of the law, law of the land. So
absolutely.
I wanted to ask you, what inspired you to start a Pandia Health? What I met you first time when you were just beginning of this Pandia Health. What really drove you to this? You're a pediatrician. You're adolescent medicine. What really triggered you to start this, really passionate about this kind of thing?
Yes, I started Pandia Health because I'm an academic physician. I was giving a talk to a bunch of doctors. Why don't women take their birth control? And one of the top reasons was didn't have it in their hand, didn't have time to go to the pharmacy every single month from age 15 to 50. And I actually coined the term hashtag pill anxiety. And for anyone who's ever taken a birth control pill, and I'm looking around because I have my props, you have 3 weeks where you take the pills, and then the last week is placebo. And by the end of that week, if you don't get to the pharmacy, you are stressing out and suffering from pill anxiety. And women should not have to suffer from pill anxiety from age 15 to 50. So my friend and I were like, we could solve this. We will just ship women birth control and keep shipping it until you tell us to stop. And then we ran ads, free birth control delivery, and 60% of the women that responded did not have a prescription. I'm a doctor. I could write prescriptions, and thus Pandia Health was born. We're asynchronous telemedicine, so you just answer a questionnaire 24/7 from the comfort of your home and the privacy of wherever you can get internet access. And then our physicians like it because then they can review the questionnaire, ask you any follow-up questions on our HIPAA certified safe website, and then write the prescription. And then we can deliver to all 50 states, and we can write the prescription in 16 states. And it's only $30 once a year to use our expert doctors.
So 16 states you can write.
Yes.
The other state, the remaining states, you cannot. What do you
Cannot write
do?
the prescription, but if your doctor writes a prescription and you have insurance, then we're just an amazing mail order delivery. Our goal is to make sure no one runs out of birth control on our watch.
Let us talk just conversation a little bit before you throw a lot of slides. Just one or two few slides we can show. So, what is the insurance covers this kind of birth control pills, Sophia?
Yes, so thanks to Obama Biden, when they passed the Affordable Care Act, they put in something there that said any FDA approved birth control should be available if you have insurance, private or public, no copay, no deductible, aka free, because it's better for the public health that nobody gets pregnant, that doesn't want to get pregnant. Birth control pills are $7 to $15 a pack. A abortion is $800. A C-section is $40,000, not taking into account pre and postnatal care and the cost to society of a pregnancy that's a family wasn't anticipating.
Do you think that these mechanisms so either public or private insurance, they cover most of it, there's no copay involved? That's a very good news. I didn't know that, and as a man, you don't follow that kind of things. Maybe my daughter knows about it. So so the second thing I wanted to ask you, if the next step is that you ship it to anywhere in the country right now, that's right, you're doing every 16 states, you can ship it right now.
Yeah, so we can ship
Any
it to all 50 states right now. If your doctor writes a prescription and you have insurance, you pay us nothing. And we just make sure you don't run out of birth control, and we'll ship as much as your state will allow, your insurance will allow, as your doctor will write. And so, one thing I want to teach women is ask your doctor to write a year's supply of birth control. So they can write 13 packs if you're taking it the way most people take it. Or if you're taking it the way I'm going to give you a little lecture on periods optional, where you skip that last week, you're going to need 17 packs. But there are 20 states that say if the doctor writes a year supply, the insurance should cover an entire year supply. But I can tell you, as somebody who owns an not insurance, pharmacy, that they are not following the law. So if there are any lawyers out there that want to do a class action, would love your help, because they're not allowing us to fill a year's supply at a time. Some of them are, some of them are not.
But they're allowed to get an entire year supply
Yes.
by both public and private, both.
Yes, by law in 20 states.
Oh, that's interesting. So that's a big. So let us talk about a little bit about what are the birth control options. That you talk about a lot about. I can show a couple of slides for that. You want me to bring your slides a little bit? You can, or you
Yeah.
want to talk about it? You just go and
Let
tell.
me yes.
Yeah, you can take control of it. You can take
Okay,
the
let me
screen.
take control, and I'm gonna throw up my periods optional talk, because that's what I
But don't do too long, just a few slides, and then
yes.
they can connect and check your pandiahealth.com. So
Okay, cool. So you all should be seeing the periods optional slide, and this is the talk that I
no, we
gave.
don't see any option. We
Oh,
don't see anything.
you're not seeing it?
No.
Oh, because it says I'm sharing it, supposedly. All right, I'll
Um,
stop
we
sharing
have
then.
to, okay. Show me where is the
Yeah.
presentation?
Why don't you put up the slide that has all the, well, I
The
don't,
one, okay. The
it
one
has all the
I
birth
have is I can
control.
always do that.
Anyway, it's very important, given the political atmosphere, that everybody knows all your birth control options. And what blew my mind is the most effective birth control is the implant. And we certainly don't do the implant at Pandia Health, because you have to go get it put in. But the implant looks like this. It's the size and shape of a toothpick, and you can feel it, and it goes in your arm. Aha, there we go.
Yeah.
If you want to go forward to the next slide.
Yeah, make it quick. That's just to give us a basic overview. You don't, yeah.
Yes. Can you advance the slide, or do I
Yeah,
advance?
I'm doing. You can do that. I think you can check it out.
Thank
You
you
can
so
advance.
much, Naomi, for joining us. Just a reminder, we are the only women founded, women led, doctor founded, doctor led birth control delivery company. And here is the list of most effective birth control to least effective birth control. And quiz your doctor. What is the most effective birth control? Of course, abstinence, but abstinence vows have been broken several times, as we've seen in research. So the implant beats vasectomy, beats the IUD with hormone. But what's crazy is the IUD with hormone beats tubal ligation. And what blows my mind is that people even get pregnant on tubal ligation, because it's not just snip, snip, it's snip, snip, burn, take out an inch on each side. So if you can still get pregnant after that, your body really wants to get pregnant. And the IUD with hormone beats that. Then comes the copper IUD. Then comes the shot, the ring, the patch, the pill. They say the ring, patch, pill, this is a diagram by the CDC, is equivalent. But the ring, you only have 12 times a year you could mess up. The patch, 52 times a year you could mess up. The pill, 365 times you can mess up a year. So the more times you can mess up, the lower the efficacy, in my opinion. And then condoms, withdrawal, and fertility awareness methods. So really important for everybody to know their options. At Pandia Health, we can prescribe the ring, the patch, the pill. During COVID, we also prescribed the shot.
What
But
is the IUD with the hormones? Sophia,
yeah,
what is that?
what is
Why?
that? So IUD with hormone is Mirena, Laletta, Skyla, Kylena. I don't recommend the Skyla and Kylena. They're just lower dose hormone. And the beauty of the IUD, the standard dose one, is that 30% of women on it will have no bleeds. And they're like, yeah, no bleeds. And then the other 70% will be lighter. And they are like, yay, it's actually a treatment for heavy periods. And again, it beats tubal ligation. It's, just under vasectomy being the gold standard. But implant, which is just a rod in your arm, beats vasectomy. It's just Ooh, blows my
Um,
mind.
okay, so yeah, I used to watch people wearing that to the woman. So over that, I'll go to the next step and just quickly,
Yes.
yeah.
Let's quickly go. So there's a new patch out there. The old patch had too high of a dose. The new patch is Twirla. And if you want the patch, it's expensive, but under the Affordable Care Act, no copay, no deductible. If you don't have insurance, we have a deal with the company, and it's $50 per 3 patches. Um,
Okay.
next
So
slide.
how long the patch is just how
One
long they can wear, without when you take a shower and everything with that?
Yeah, it works in the shower, it works in the swimming pool. They've tested it in saunas, and it lasts for a week. You just change it once a week, and then you can have a bleed every 12 weeks, or you can have a bleed every month. Your call, however often you want to bleed. And then same thing with birth control pill. You can bleed every month, every 3 months, or I haven't bled for the past 14 years, my last child, and I'll go over it. And this is just,
Um,
go ahead.
are there any side effects on those patches,
So
Sophia?
the side effects for the pill, the patch, and the ring are all the same because they both have estrogen and progesterone in them. And the side effects for some people, you might get nausea, but most people, they do great. And another new birth control out there is a 1 year ring. And it was tested in the United States to have it in 3 weeks, out 1 week. So you bleed every month. But if you don't like to, you just leave it in for the entire year and not bleed for the entire year. It was originally tested outside of the United States in a ton of women. Just leave it in for a year.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it causes any infections, anything like that?
Nope. Nope. Nothing at all. The main side effect people do see with the ring is sometimes increased vaginal discharge, but if it doesn't bother you, it doesn't bother you. So,
1 year, the whole year. That is that great thing for them.
yes.
Okay,
And
now clinical. What is this?
yes. So if you're prescribing or if you want to make sure your doctor is giving you the best possible care for birth control, if your birth control has the letters TRI in it, your doctor doesn't know what they're doing. Or they're old school. They're old school. So the triphasic is with this pack of pills, they have 3 different colors and then the last one's another color. So they were trying to mimic the natural cycle, but birth control is so super physiologic, it's a farce to try to mimic that cycle. And so you want a monophasic so that your hormones are stable rather than up and down, up and down, up and down every month. And then I'm an adolescent medicine specialist. And so we're focused on your bone health. Check your birth control pill. If it has less than 30 micrograms of estrogen and you're under 30 years old, that's not good for your bones because we're building our bones until 30. And then after that, we start losing. And so you don't build optimal bone if you don't have enough estrogen. So if you're under 30 micrograms, it's probably because you're like, oh, can I please have the lowest amount of estrogen? And your doctor's like, okay, whatever you like. And so then they give you a 20 mic or a 10 microgram estrogen, but they are not adolescent medicine
Mhm.
specialists who study the bone, care about the bone, and don't want you to have low bone density. And when you're 50, 60, 70, fall down the stairs and break your wrist, break your hip, break your leg. So 30 micrograms of estrogen until 30. And then being a woman of color, I wrote 3,000 birth control prescriptions over 2 years, coming from MIT, UCSF, Stanford background, couldn't just sit there and watch women have horrible side effects. And I realized that medicine is based on a 70-kilo white man. If you don't know, all of medicine is based on a 70-kilo white man, and certainly not for birth control. But I spoke to my fellow Asian and Black doctors, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that we're teaching all the medical students to write for does not work for our people. So I took all the birth control pills, ranked them. Most likely make you bleed, least likely make you bleed. Most likely give you munchies, least likely give you munchies. Most likely give you zits, least likely to give you zits. And then took the one we were teaching everybody to prescribe across the nation, fixed it for the side effect that we were seeing in people of Asian and Black descent. And with that, we see 82% of people happy at a year who are new to the birth control pill compared to 30 to 55% is the standard. And so we're using race as a proxy for genetics, but now we're asking our patients, hey, did you do 23andMe? Did you do DNA ancestry? If you share your genetic information with us, then we can run a machine learning model on it. And then we can use it for future patients and be like, oh, you have this genetics. This woman who had this genetics did great on this birth control pill. So no other telemedicine birth control platform out there has this algorithm that I've come up with. No other birth control company is as focused as making sure every woman has the least amount of side effects on our birth control pills. And then we do a 10-week checkup. And if you have any issues, our doctors know how to bump this up, bump this down to decrease, minimize, eliminate side effects.
Very interesting, Sophia. I have extensive contacts in Black community, Indian community. So you're saying that this is a race-based kind of thing. It is the universally that they're been selling this was the universal pill. Now you're saying that it is depends on the race. So my daughter and your daughter, they have to adopt a different kind of a treatment plan. That's what you're
Yes.
saying.
Yes, because as we know, there are different subgroups of Asians. The example I give is with HDL, right? People who are South Asian have a lower HDL and therefore greater risk of heart attack. People of Japanese descent have a higher HDL. And I'm like, my daughters need to marry a Japanese person or they need to do a CRISPR with some Japanese genes to get that HDL to protect against heart attack. And the same thing goes with how you metabolize drugs. And so Caucasians have a different P450 than people of Asian or Black descent. And Caucasians and Asians and Blacks have different responses to testosterone or androgen. And so these are all the things that could be taken into account when you do a genetic machine learning algorithm. But right now we have a better proxy than what we're currently doing, which is what you're taught in med school is pick a birth control pill. And then if that doesn't work, have a backup one. But that, works if you're a Caucasian female that wants to bleed every month. But if you're of Asian or Black descent, you need to talk to your Asian and Black friends and be like, what works for you? But even better, whatever worked for your mom will probably work for you.
That's a very good information because that's what people need, particularly with a wide variety of backgrounds. There are people coming in. So what is the this anything important in this
This is
one?
just a chart showing all the different progesterones and how they have different side effects. The top three reasons for missing a pill is you forgot, you were away from
Okay, let us
home,
talk about that. Yeah,
you forgot you were away from home, you don't have an extra pack. The solutions to forget, all of us have a cell phone, set an alarm and make it go off and don't turn it off until you take your birth control pill. If you're away from home, whenever I travel, I have one in my purse, in my backpack, in my suitcase, in my toothbrush container, because I know if I run out, I will end up pregnant or bleeding when I don't want to be. And then ask your doctor to dispense 13 packs or 17 packs. And then delivery services, Pandia Health. The whole reason I created this company is so that no one runs out of birth control on our watch. So please check out Pandia Health on all our socials and tell all your friends that are on the birth control pill they should get it delivered by the only women founded, women led.
that's
Emergency
yeah.
contraception. Let's go to the next slide.
So they're traveling and then they check in the hotel. That state was what are the? Let me ask you, what are the biggest states that they allow you to prescribe? New York. Let us talk about California, New
Yes.
York, Texas.
We purposely chose the largest states and the cool states to visit because we actually encourage birth control tourism. We are in 16 states. I can't name them all because there's too many now, but I'll name as many as I can remember. So, California, Florida, Texas, New York, Nevada, Arizona, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Alabama, and then a couple more. So,
Alabama.
yes, we are
Oh,
in Alabama and Georgia, if I didn't mention that. So if you can get to one of those states, or if you happen to be in one of those airports and you're like, I'm in San Francisco right now, You can fill out the questionnaire. Our doctor can in California can write the prescription, and then we can ship it to all 50 states. Or if you're visiting Vegas, or if you're visiting one of the Disneys, or if you're going to New York to see a Broadway play, or if you're going to get out the vote in Ohio, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Georgia, all of those states, we can
That's a very
prescribe.
good survey. Excellent service.
Yes.
So
This,
the yeah, BMI. Let's talk about that. Is that one of the connection between the birth control pills or and then BMI, body mass index.
yes. So it's really important, again, given the political climate, given that 26 states are hostile to abortion rights, that people know about prevention. And so for Plan B and its generics, please check your BMI before you buy it, before you take it, because you take it and you're like, I'm preventing unplanned pregnancy. But if your BMI is 26 or greater, Plan B and its generics don't work so well. If your BMI is 30 or greater, it does not work at all. And so I suggest instead that everybody get Ella. And I don't make money from Ella. I'm just trying to prevent unplanned pregnancy. Ella is a prescription emergency contraception. And as we discussed before, because it's an FDA approved method, it's no copay, no deductible, AKA free. And it works for a BMI up to 35. If your BMI is 35 or greater and you need emergency contraception, you can use the copper IUD or you can use the hormonal IUD. Normally, I don't like the copper IUD, but the copper IUD in this case works 99.99999% of the time to prevent last minute contraceptive failure or, God forbid, sexual assault.
What percentage of people have a BMI over 35?
I would say probably only 10 or 5% of the population, but 66% of the population has a BMI of 26 or greater. So 2 out of 3 people, should not be taking Plan B and its generics, or it doesn't work so well. And your BMI when you're younger can be higher if you're a ton of muscle. So if you're like a super volleyball player or tennis player or gymnastics, just it's about muscle, it's about weight versus your height.
Is it race based in the BMI or just a body mass index, the way you keep track of your body health?
Body mass index is not related to race. It's just a calculations. It's kilograms per meter squared or pounds per inches squared. It's just a way that we're not just doing weight, but we're accounting for your height as well.
Okay.
And
So yeah.
yes. So
So
now
tell us
we've
this.
come to
Yeah.
is menstruation obsolete? And I realized trying to get pregnant with my first daughter in 2006 that the only reason those of us with uteri bleed every month is we build that lining and we're like, embryo, oh, no embryo, bleed. And every time you build that lining, it could mutate and turn into endometrial cancer. Every time you pop an egg, and we don't know if it's the popping, the healing, or the tube, that could turn into ovarian cancer. And so this building and sloughing, popping and building and popping and building is putting you at risk of cancer. And so next slide.
Uh, that is really alarming news.
Yes. And so I know as the medical community, we've driven it into women's heads. You have to bleed every single month. And so you're like, well, Dr. Yen, you're telling me hashtag periods optional. Don't I need to bleed every month? Well, if you look on the left is the Dogon tribe in Africa, studied by Dr. Beverly Strassman, an anthropologist. They die at the same time we die, 70 to 80 years old. So we're comparing apples to apples here with respect to when you die. And on the right is the United States. They have their first period at 16 years old. We have our first period at 12. And that's because nutrition. Once your body hits 100 pounds consistently or 22% body fat, it goes, ooh, I can make babies. Let's make babies. And on the left, the Dogon tribe has 7 periods a year. We have 13 periods a year because nutrition. But more importantly, they have 8 or 9 children in their lives. Not saying we should do that. And we only have 2 children. And then they breastfeed for 12 months for every one of those 8 or 9 children. We only breastfeed for 0, 3, or 6 months. How
Let me
many
ask you.
years?
Let
Go
me
ahead.
ask you a question, if you don't mind. That if they is that does it increase is outside of your field probably, or you can answer. If you are not taking, if you don't have a children at all, is that risk of cancer is increasing, breast cancer or other cancers? Your
Yes.
risk is increasing. Is there any peer-reviewed studies there?
There's definitely research peer reviewed that shows that if you don't have any children, then you have an increased risk of breast cancer, and that's because they've just shown that if you have children, it changes your breast tissue, and then you decrease your risk of breast cancer. And so, just to continue here, my point is that how many periods do you have when you're pregnant? Zero. How many periods do you have when you're constantly breastfeeding every 2 to 3 hours? Zero. And so on the left, the Dogon tribe, which is natural, has 100 periods in their lives. On the right, the United States has 350 to 400 periods in our lives. We have enough periods for three other people.
It's
That's way too
interesting.
many.
That, Dogon tribe. I want to throw something about it. That
Yes.
tribe has a, one of the things they may have a astrological knowledge, is some kind of a alien knowledge, because they are the ones, they do move around with this. There's a twin star. The stars move around each other. They have this the dance they do. They imitate the astrological objects, that the two stars moving around each other. This is a very well documented. In fact, it's a very interesting concept Dogon tribe follows. Actually, very mysterious tribe in a way, right?
Yeah, no, they're very interesting and well studied. And so the following is a list of cases why you might want to make hashtag periods optional. Painful periods, dysmenorrhea, is the number one cause of missed school and work in a woman under the age of 25.
Yeah.
And 10 to 45% of adolescent young women miss school because of it. And then on the academic competitiveness side, I give the example. I was at MIT. I was pre med. I'm in the middle of a biochem final, and all of a sudden, blood. And I'm like, do I run to the bathroom or do I finish the final? And anybody who's pre med knows the answer. You finish the exam. Was I a little distracted? Maybe. And I looked to my left, I looked to my right, two people without uteruses. Do, 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 do. Not a care in the world. And I have two daughters, and I want them to walk into every exam confident that they're not going to be randomly hit with blood 1 week out of 4. So that's another reason. And then just as teenagers, I'm an adolescent medicine specialist. I have two teenage daughters. Life is already hard enough. Why stress it out with periods? So if you want a rehash of my periods optional talk, you can go to pandiahealth.com/periods optional.
You are absolutely doing great job. The great job, Sophia. Let me just, that is, oh, no, no, let me, this is, 1 second. Yeah. Okay. So, Sophia, so that this is with all these confusing laws, a lot of men don't follow this. Really gave us a little bit of a rundown on this one. How do the men can support this kind of a thing for you? Just I wanted to ask. I did an interview, Catherine Hansen. You were menopause. A little bit talk about a little bit about a couple of minutes about menopause, and then
Yes.
what you're doing with them and Catherine
Yes.
Hansen, and yeah.
Thank you so much. So, along my journeys of recruiting amazing, passionate physicians about women's health, Pandia Health is 100% physicians. No offense to NPs, PAs, but they're just people I knew, and I knew how to put together a practice. So, we are only physicians that are taking care of you. We happen to pick up there's only 1,300 Menopause Society certified practitioners in the entire US of A. And we picked up two of them, and one of them is Dr. Catherine Hansen, and she has 25 plus years dealing with menopause, not dealing with it, but taking care of women with menopause. And then we also have Stephanie Culver, who also has 20 plus years experience, and they are leading our menopause team. And as I hit menopause, all my friends are like, menopause. And I'm like, yes, I will find the best treatment for me, and I will share it with all of you. And so I'm really proud to have the best, state of the art, cutting edge care for our patients. Know that menopause affects everybody. Whether or not you have symptoms, it will affect your heart, your bones, your brain. And right now, the indications for treatment are hot flashes, night sweats, genital urinary symptoms, so recurrent urinary tract infections, or painful sex, or I call it sandpaper vagina. And then the last one is prevention of osteopenia. And this is one, anybody who is lactose intolerant, doesn't get enough milk, anybody of color generally, we are at risk of osteopenia. So that's one good thing about being a person of color, is you instantly qualify for hormone therapy to prevent osteopenia. But there are cardiac benefits, brain benefits, that unfortunately right now the societies aren't saying you can prescribe hormone therapy for it, but I absolutely recommend it to prevent all of that badness. And then for those that are perimenopause, which is 10 years before menopause, you can start having weird periods, weird symptoms. You can come to Pandia Health and use our menopause platform. We'll ask you the symptoms and questions, and we'll give you hormone therapy in the form of low dose birth control pills, because I like to think of menopause as kind of running out of gas, and you can either put, put, or you can bleh. Nobody talks about the horrible flooding that women go through. And I asked my friend, is that's just once, right? And she's like, no, it happened like 4 or 5 times. And I'm like, oh, that's horrible. I prefer just to have no periods, and then every 6 months, am I there yet? Am I there yet? And then once you're in menopause, we switch you over to the menopause hormones.
She is an amazing guest, and I really truly enjoy talking with her. Let me present a topic on somebody, actually the ovarian cancer. She died. Let us talk about that lady. Then I'm going to present a topic on that, and both you're going to watch, and you can jump in anytime you want to. Okay, that
Thank
is Sophia Yan. Is a good friend and an amazing guest. She is always vivacious and really really informative. A lot of that. I'm going to talk about a mathematical theorem that can talk about a beauty, sex and depression and the universe itself. I'm going to talk about that topic. Let me bring both of us in the side a little bit so we can watch together. Okay.
I love Denzel and also Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah,
Who's the
these are
person
all
on the
the symmetry, facial symmetry, that is a Marilyn Monroe is what is the facial symmetry is? A symmetry is that when you draw a line between the eyebrows, the left side is supposed to be similar to the right side. If they are similar, they are supposed to be beautiful. That's a Marilyn Monroe. Denzel Washington, the right hand side of the Aishwarya Roy, Indian, they call her one of the most beautiful women on the planet. Is just a lot of people, guys, are voting for her. So that is and then I should include Sophia there. you
Oh.
know, that sorry I didn't include her, but she's truly deserved there. But so facial symmetry is a very important in the beauty that standards, because that there is a lot of health connection there. So one of the things is the sex. Actually, there was a research done in the University of San Francisco and California, Pennsylvania, Drexel, close to Drexel. They did women enjoy with a man with the sex. The more organisms they have, with if they have a perfect symmetry on the good symmetry they have for the men, they enjoy more. That's what they found out, the research. I don't know if the Sophia can verify that or not. I don't know. But the second thing is that even the honeybees prefer beauty, radial symmetry, the perfect symmetry that they prefer. Is the beauty is something. Symmetry is a very important embedded secret in the nature. The 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 yeah. Okay, what is symmetry? Symmetry is what is symmetry is just I wanted to say, it is not only it is aesthetically good, pleasing in the both sides and the similar parts repeating, and also in it is a functionally, it's also you can apply to the functional part of it. Not only structural, it is both structural and functional. It is in between that. Really, that is they're talking about medicine, between the mathematics and the art is somewhere in between. That defines the process of symmetry. Symmetry connects to the good health. Symmetry is a beauty and all those things. So So this is everybody knows about Leonardo da Vinci. All the doctors' offices I go, I see this picture. So that symmetry of the heart and symmetry of the lungs, and they show bilateral symmetry, that left side and right side, kind of similar, not exactly similar. So then we have a symmetry apps are coming up. There's a lot of new kind of healthcare screening tools are coming up in the market. There's a bilateral symmetry. For example, if you have the blood pressure on both arms and there is a difference there, anything like that, the cardiovascular risk is there. So this is this bilateral symmetry they check on the symmetry application, that is. The second is a temporal symmetry with the blood glucose level. Diabetic patients, if they have a changes, if there's not a consistent internal consistency, that is a problem there, the diabetes. And then now the melanoma, they can diagnose melanoma with the radial symmetry. See that picture with the dermatology. Actually, there is a app available. All the apps are available for that. Actually, these are the screening tools, a new screening kind of tools coming up in the symmetry based screening tools. I'm giving you the mathematics behind the whole process. That's symmetry is the so symmetry is structural symmetry, sclerosis, that some men, woman, have problems with that. So it's a structural and functional both. If you want to play a football, you need to. That's why they teach a lot of football players teach to the ballet and all those things, because the movement, wrong movements can cause injuries and prone to injuries. That's why they create the dancing. They teach them, they train them in dance also. So both symmetry is both structural and functional both. So, but the facial asymmetry, they said that something is related to the mental health problem. People with the hidden, I don't know, because their facial asymmetry, they're feeling that pressure and being the disorder there, or a disorder is causing the facial asymmetry. Maybe sometimes both ways. It is possible. So what I read about that, there is a connection between the facial asymmetry and the depression. So the next one is that, so facial symmetry, already Fred Krueger and that the Joker and all those people, that Frankenstein. One of the things that we're all they show an aggression because of facial symmetry. People, the research says that they show a little bit of aggression. In fact, sad on that part, but that is what it is. So another thing is OCD is actually OCD is not a behavioral problem. They are saying is a fear of asymmetry. Fear of asymmetry is they have an extreme need of symmetry. The people, I used to have a friend in Philadelphia. She was, I can't stand when I go to her place. She has to be everything. It has to be in place. Bathroom or bedroom. If I misplace a little bit, she goes crazy. I think that the OCD is like something with a genetic disorder. It's a genetic disorder. It is extreme need of symmetry. That's one of the. It's something to do. That's the genes requiring that symmetry process. That's what they're saying. There's a new research coming in the direction. But what is this? What that? Let me. So you see in the nature of symmetry, you can see in the trees and the leaves. You can see a diamond is one of the good description of symmetry is a diamond. Diamond is a perfect symmetry, and then sunflower is one of the best demonstration of the radial symmetry. All these are nature exhibits quite a bit of symmetry and then embedded symmetry there. So universe, not only this nature exhibits, we religiously, we are trained probably in a lot of religious symbols maintain integrity of the symmetry. Most of this, if you see cross, or if you see star of the star David, or Hindu home, they follow some bilateral symmetries, some kind of symmetry they follow, or reflection symmetry. There are several kinds of symmetries are there, but they follow symmetries. Universal, like chakras, Hindu people, Hinduism. Diana Landonio talks about it. I don't know much about it, but she talks about this chakras, and so some kind of radial symmetry. They follow symmetry, at least, that we are indirectly influenced by symmetry, and universe embeds a symmetry. This was done by. So I tell you that then why symmetry we are studying. there was a problem for Einstein. Einstein got a problem. Einstein got a problem, a serious problem, that is. When in the laws of the thermodynamic laws is, first law of thermodynamics is either energy is created or destroyed. That is a fundamental conservation of energy is a fundamental aspect of the thermodynamics law and the laws of physics. But this law is not holding good in the expanding universe. Don't ask me, even if physicists get confused about this, it's a little complicated to explain. But in the expanding universe, we found out our universe is ever expanding and accelerated pace. So the conservation laws may not hold good. So Einstein got puzzled a little bit about that. So he need a woman to rescue. So he found a woman who rescued her. Her name is Emmy Noether. She is a German mathematician born in 1882. She was born in Germany, Bavaria, Germany. She is a brilliant mathematician. She came from a mathematics family, and Jewish woman, and came from her father is a mathematician. She was in Bavaria. She went to school there. She got a PhD. And then one of the famous mathematician, Hilbert, is her advisor. And then she was teaching there actually when somebody said that, the German soldier said that we don't want to learn from a woman. That's what they said. And then her advisor said that this is not a bathhouse, a Turkish bathhouse. This is an academic institution. You need to learn from here. And he's the one hide here at the time, despite even there is a position there. So thanks all the people. We have wonderful people like Sophia to be professors because of one of the reasons they paid people like Emmy Noether. So Emmy Noether is a Emmy Noether. What she said that is a very striking and fundamentally changing the laws of physics. It says that energy is not a fundamental. Geometry is a fundamental. Geometry consistency. That's why expanding universe, when the geometry is not a consistent, that's why energy conservation laws are failing. So the energy is not a fundamental. The geometry is a fundamental. The geometry means the beauty, the symmetry is a fundamental. See what she's saying. Not saying that. She came up with an extraordinary theorem. That's Noether's theorem, they call that. The laws of symmetry, I'm going to talk about it in a minute about that. So one of the laws of symmetry that I can tell you is the conservation of symmetry. It's very strangely connected. It is a little complicated. Even for me, I struggle with that. It is that when you throw a ball yesterday and then it falls down, today you throw the ball to the top and then it comes down, and tomorrow you do that. This consistency is a conservation of energy, is related to the conservation of energy. This is a very strange connection, but that is what she found out. She found out the geometry connected with all these things. The time symmetry is the one does the conservation of energy. I'm going to show you a very quick video, just a symmetry video. You can see that, and let me.
Look into a mirror, wave your hand, and your reflection will wave back at you. In everyday life, it's easy to take the effect of symmetry for granted. But symmetry is vital to understanding and predicting how our universe works. This relationship between symmetry and the mechanics of the universe was something Emmy Noether proved in 1915 with her remarkable theorem, linking maths and physics in one harmonious statement. Wherever there is a symmetry of nature, there's a corresponding conservation law. So what exactly do we mean by symmetry in physics? Well, it can be described as a transformation that leaves a system fundamentally unchanged after the transformation has been performed. It's a change that makes no change. Take, for example, spatial translation. If we have a system and move it to a different point in space, that system would continue to work in the same way, provided all of the relevant conditions of that system were moved along with it. In other words, the laws of physics are not affected by translation in space. And similarly, with time translation, a system can be shifted at any point in time, and its physics would remain unchanged too. Even the most fundamental laws of physics are themselves symmetrical. They remain the same wherever or whenever you are in the universe. The symmetry of time translation confirms to us that energy cannot be created or destroyed.
That is the symmetry law, time symmetry. That's what I was telling you. So the laws of the I didn't mention about that. So that is the time symmetry. Just I give you the brief introduction of the angular momentum. Angular momentum. That's a connection to translation, reflective symmetry, and all these things are connected to the conservation laws. So actually, if I'm a physicist. Actually, we use a cheat sheet. All these laws are conservation laws or cheat sheets. The real laws, the real fundamental rule is the geometry. The laws of symmetry are the more fundamental. The laws of conservations are the cheat sheet for people like us to do fast calculations. That's all. So the laws of physics is, the conservation of time symmetry created. I'm putting the wrong one or something. Yeah, let me do this, I think. Yeah. So I saw the video. Then, so structural symmetry, as you know, breast cancer, that's one of the things is that abnormal, if you have they have two breasts are abnormal, and if one of them are they're not consistent with the other one, it is one of the things you could say as a detection of the breast cancer. Reconstruction is also another one. That they do use a symmetry, and orthopedics, a lot of surgery and prosthetics, they use some of the symmetry applications. But what she I yeah I'm putting the wrong one. Yeah. Okay, so sportsmanship and functional symmetry, for example, injury prevention, you got to see that how do you move, what do you do. All these are symmetrical movements are extremely important to prevent particularly the athletes. So that's one of the functional symmetry. But there is another area of functional symmetry very useful for us is it is a chiral symmetry. Chiral symmetry are very strange. That if you take a molecule and if you have a mirror image of that molecule, the properties are not the same. It's like evil twin in the mirror. That may affect, actually, they may have a bad effects, not even a good effects. They may have opposite effects sometimes. So that is a molecular chemistry. When you are designing the drugs, extremely important is this is a chiral symmetry, which is the woman from China found out first chiral thing in the particle level in the University of Columbia. So, but anyway, this chiral symmetry, or if the left hand side, perfect example is our hands. Both hands are not chiral. Is not, you cannot interchange left hand to the right hand. So there are certain things are chiral. That is where the molecular chemistry, a lot of drug discovery happens. So they need to pay a lot of attention to the chiral chemistry, chiral symmetry. So M.A. Nather did fractal symmetry. You see a lot of fractals. Jackson Pollock, as you see, that his art is all fractal symmetry. A lot of art you can see in the fractals. Then mind, if you take a psilocybin, for example, I didn't never take it, but if you take mushrooms, LSD, they feel that they have a mind symmetry of the mind. You see the mental, all the graphics and everything, that you see the symmetry of the fractals. So what is the symmetry algorithms? There's a lot of companies based on symmetry algorithms, 3D MD, PostureCo. It is a gait analysis they do through that process. And then my skin, the skin cancer, through the radial symmetry, it will find out whether you have a melanoma or not. All those things are a lot of companies, they do produce this symmetry-based application. Nature's wonder, human body is a lot of symmetry follows from the nature itself and the universe itself. We are all connected in, the M.A. Nather's theorem is connected to the universe, but there is a organizational wise, they're all connected in under the biological symmetries, and the universal symmetries are all under that one principle of organization. M.A. Nather, what she proved, I don't want to go into the differential equations, but what it says that the beauty is much more, governs the nature, not the numbers and the laws of physics who throw the numbers. So she is an amazing. The laws of symmetry are more fundamental than laws of physics. That's what she did. M.A. Nather theorem is one of the unsung hero. She is the one nobody, I always, people don't know much about her. Unnoticed genius of universe, I say. I mean, another Einstein wrote it when she died. One of the most genius. She moved to Philadelphia. Moore Brown College, I think that's where she was the last 2 years of her life. And then at the age of 50, she got the ovarian cancer and she died. And one of her ashes were spread across the campus buried under the campus of this college. So is one of the genius, most woman. She did. She just one of the we unnoticed genius of our times. Like people like Sophia and all these people, I have a lot of admiration, and that's why I always bring. Let me bring. Thank you for watching. Let me bring that Sophia back to the main stage, and let me see what she said. Let me
Thank
see
you so much. I really, really enjoyed learning about the laws of symmetry as well as Ms. Nether and how she's one of the mathematical geniuses of our time. Thank you for shedding light on the she heroes that we don't know about, we don't learn about.
That is a sad, right? In how the history was perceived. Science is supposed to be neutral, but science itself is practiced a lot of discrimination in that sense, right?
Yeah.
So it is a really sad part. But anyway, thank you. Pandia Health. What is the address? www.pandiahealth.com. They can reach you anytime, right? Yeah.
Yes, we have patient care advisors that can take care of you 24/7. Our physicians will usually take care of you for birth control within 1 to 2 business days, for menopause within 5 business days, because we want to make sure we got everything right before we get back to you on that one. But birth control is a lot easier. And Pandia, the way to remember how to spell it, Pan is every, Dia is day. So we want to be with you every day from age 14 until your last breath. And it's also the Greek goddess of healing, light, full moon. So follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on all the socials, and share us with anybody who wants to make #periods optional, get their birth control delivered, or menopause treatment. And for menopause, if you want a shortcut, it's pandiahealth.com/menopause.
I put the Pandia Health there. If you can see that, can you see?
Yes,
Yeah,
in the
Pandia Health on
sponsors section on the
the middle of
orange.
the section, and also is sponsored by Lucid Health. Both are sponsors. Lucid Health is a remote patient monitoring company. So that is both you check pandiahealth.com or lucidhealth.com. Both of them help. I think amazing. Thank you. It is let me bring one more time before I thank you so much,
Thank
Sophia.
you.
You are my favorite guest. You're always wonderful.
Aw.
Thank you so much.
You
Okay.
look great. I love the tie today. Beautiful color.
Thank you so much. You're wonderful. Let me. This thing is, it's a very complicated technologies. Okay, guys. Good night, all of you. And let me play the closing video. that
Outro.
yeah.
Retelling their stories through our patented designs that can be worn on scrubs, t-shirts, printed on conference bags, and endless other promotional materials. Daily Wear for Medicine is the first ever of its kind to create curiosity in medicine through visual art. We at MedBricks are celebrating unsung heroes of the past who made enormous contributions to the field of medicine.